Hi guys, KatimaGaming here once again, and today we will be doing a benchmark on our i7-4790k paired with our RTX 3080, but this time with games in 4K. Alright, in our last episode, we benchmarked Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Far Cry 5, Ghost Recon Wildlands, and Red Dead Redemption 2 at max settings in 1440p. Now, we're gonna try to do the same, but this time, let's try it in 4K resolution, and let's see if there's actually less bottleneck in 4K compared to 1440p. Now, the main reason why I'm actually doing this is to end one simple argument once and for all among PC gamers. Does resolution put more stress on the CPU, and will it get higher or lower frame rates in higher resolutions when it comes to having a much faster GPU? How does this work? Well, you see, in the last episode, we talked about bottlenecking because the CPU simply can't catch up with the GPU. An i7-4790k, for example, is considered ancient compared to the new and shiny RTX 3080. The GPU works so much faster, and it'll start to idle once it's done its job rendering pixels on an image. But what if we can make the GPU render more pixels on an image? By increasing the resolution to 4K, which is twice 1440p by the way, can we slow down the GPU so that the CPU can actually catch up? Now, right off the bat, it is not entirely true that CPUs work harder on higher or lower resolutions. Now, I'm trying to say not entirely, I'm playing it safe here, because there's actually a lot going under the hood. But in principle, when it comes to gaming, the CPU's job is to just draw memory from the hard drive, or SSD if you may, and send instructions to the GPU. The GPU understands the instructions, then works on creating that image. Therefore, resolutions have little to do with CPU, in principle. Let's say I want to play a flight simulator game at 1080p. The CPU draws the game memory from the hard drive and then sends the instruction to create cloud images to the GPU. The GPU then renders those clouds at the instructed 1080p, for example. Now, how about gaming at 4K? The CPU does actually the same thing. It draws the memory from the hard drive, then sends the instructions, only this time the instructions is in 4K to create that image. The GPU gets it, works a little bit harder because this time it's in 4K, and sends that image all the way to the monitor. So let's try to dramatize this for you so that we can get a better understanding on how GPU and CPU actually work together when it comes to 4K.
Oh, come on, i7-4790k. Work for me. Work for me.
Working, sir. 1 second. Oh, new instructions, sir. It's in 4K.
What? 4K? Does owner even have 4K monitor?
Oi, someone said something about 4K?
Hey, who are you?
I'm the 4K TV that's about to make your life a little bit harder, 3080.
The TV?
Hey, I'm still 4K, alright? Unless you can't handle it.
Do you know who I am? I am RTX 3080. 4K is very easy. It's just that i7 over here.
Whoa. Didn't you know, 3080? The CPU actually doesn't work that hard on 4K. Let me show you.
Here you go, sir. 1 frame and 4K. Coming right up over here.
Ha! 4K. Easy. Okay, this is complicated.
Here's the next frame, sir.
Hey! You wait for me, i7, huh? You wait for me, I am not finished with this frame yet.
Oi, you're having some performance issues there, 3080.
No. I am 3080, 4K capable. It says so in the box.
Here's your next frame, sir.
You, i7, I told you, do not rush me.
Oi, 3080, calm down. i7, why don't you take a break? Get a pint or something. You, 3080, you're with me.
Oh, thank you so much, sir. I can finally see my wife and kids. Oh, thank you so much.
4K.
Alright, I hope that clears things up. Now, I don't have a 4K monitor as it said in the skit, but I do have a 4K TV. So now let's go Dragon Ball teleport to the living room and check it out. All right, we are here in the living room, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is the Samsung 4K TV. Shout out to my wife for allowing me to do some modifications in the living room. PC is right there. I got the wireless keyboard and mouse. 4K TV ready. I already did some of the settings to make sure that the latency has been lowered on gaming mode, as they say. You know how TVs don't do very well with video games. For just a disclaimer, I am not going to be recording the gameplay at 4K. That'll be ridiculous because that'll be putting too much stress on the CPU. I want to make sure that the CPU is doing the best it can so that we can get the best benchmarks as possible. Graphics, everything, high, ultra, adaptive quality, I turned it off. Anti-aliasing is high, ultra, everything. Almost everything is almost at super duper, as high as it can be. And yeah, let's do some benchmarks and let's see if we can get better results. Okay, here we go. That's not right. Whoa. Hey, look at that. Check out the frames on the top left, guys, and at the bottom right. Hey, 40 frames. Hey, not bad, not bad. Oh my gosh, guys. Bottleneck's real. This looks like it's doing better than 1440p. This is 4K, I swear to you. Whoa. Hey, this is not bad. It's not bad. This is 4K, guys. This is twice the resolution of 1440p. Let's see, what are the results? 48 frames. Let me look at let's look at some old results here from last time. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. The average frames per second that we got from 1440p was 38 frames on average. 4K was playing games. Assassin's Creed Odyssey at 4K was 10 frames more on average. Minimum frames was 19. We got 22 here. Maximum frames at 1440p, lower resolution, was 65 frames. 83 max here. And you can see right there. It's 4K. Oh, VSync off, FPS limit. I thought I turned that on. Graphics quality was ultra high, anti-aliasing high, full screen. On the monitor is Samsung. And you can see from the 1440p results last time, 4K is doing better. Oh my gosh. We got to test more games. Oh my gosh. Full screen. 4K, a little bit difference on the aspect ratio because the TV is a little wider. We'll set the refresh rate at 60. All the graphics are on high. All right, here we go. Whoa. 64 frames or 67 frames per second. That's not bad. Oh my gosh, it's doing so much better. It's steady. Oh my gosh, it is steady. I haven't seen it dip below 50. I got up to 70 frames. Wow. Just wow. Okay, let's look at the results from last time. Let me pull out the results from last time and see how better we did. Look, you guys don't get it. Last time we did it went up to 80 frames per second. Wow, just holy crap. Maximum frames per second was 80. Let's look at the results from last time. You can see there, it's 4K, full screen, refresh rate set at 60. Well, it went higher than that, but the TV can only do 60. Maximum frames per second last time at 1440p was 59. Average frame rates was 42. Minimum frame rates from 1440p was 33. We're playing games at 4K. Twice the amount of resolution from 1440p, and it's working better. Let's look at the graphics. Okay, I got everything on high, ultra. I turned off motion blur because you don't really need that. Okay, here we go. Oof. It's okay, 30 frames. We're doing okay. 40 frames. This is the part where, you know, the game is just really not as optimized because it's really hard on the CPU. GPU is going up higher though, which is a good thing if the GPU is working harder than the CPU. I think we're averaging around 30 frames here. Probably just as much as when we were gaming at 1440p. All right, let's look at the results. A little better. Now, this game is so difficult to optimize. It's clearly poorly optimized, and I don't know. I've tried to bring the game down to medium at 1440p, and I couldn't even get it past 70 frames. I don't know why. The game is just not as good optimized CPU wise. Okay, I did wanted to add though that even though we got those frames and they were a little better, that's still a good thing considering the fact that Ghost Recon was at 4K. That's, again, I'm saying it all over again, that's twice the amount of pixels used at 1440p. So the fact that you can still play games with the similar performance with this, okay, with similar performance at 4K, even at 1440p and 4K, they have similar performance. That's a good thing. Okay, this is the one. This is it. The real benchmarks here in the city. Arthur Morgan robbing inside, holding at 50 frames at 4K, guys. i7-4790k. Red Dead Redemption at 4K with the 3080 holding steady at 50 frames. Oh my gosh. Out into the city. Frame rate drop down to 40. Stay in 50. He's running, steady at 40, 50 frames, shoots the cop, gets on the horse. Wow. 40 frames. That's not bad. I will live with that. On an i7-4790k, I will live with that. 50 frames in the city. 50 frames in the city, guys. Fire the hole. No frame rate drop. 43 frames per second. Now, you have to take into account that this is 4K, all ultra. Okay, let's take a look at the benchmark. The minimum frames at 4K was 32 frames per second. When 1440p, we had 37, almost 37 frames. Minimum frames per second was there. Maximum frame, we have 41 here at 4K and 50 at 1440p. Average frames per second was 37 here at 4K, while on 1440p was 47. Not as good. We did lose a lot of frames. We lost almost 10 frames at 4K, but that's okay considering that it was very, very playable. You also have to consider the fact that I was recording this using SHADOWPLAY. So recording using SHADOWPLAY, it takes about 10% of the CPU resource while recording. Okay, so here you could see the benchmarks when I am not actually using SHADOWPLAY. And if you could see, and I'm not sure if you can catch it on the top left, it's 60 frames. It's holding steady at 60 frames. Very, very steady. You might not see it as I'm recording it using just the webcam, but on the top left, 50 frames, 51 frames. That's pretty good. Okay, as you could see, that, ladies and gentlemen, is the benchmark without SHADOWPLAY. And so the benchmark is a little bit more decent than last time. So there you have it, guys. The i7-4790k doing quite well with the 3080 at 4K. We saw a huge performance boost when it came to playing 4K. Bottleneck, it's proven. Bottleneck is real. All right, it's been proven here. The benchmarks don't lie. When playing at 4K, especially if you turn SHADOWPLAY off, you're really going to get better frame rate. And it's proven the theory that if you do let the GPU work harder by adding more pixels, the CPU can actually catch up. Hence, you get better performance. So what now? I mean, if you own a 4790K, you're good. You're actually good, especially if you're running at 4K. In the future, I feel actually good because it goes to show that the i7-4790k can still hold its own. Don't feel bad if you're still waiting on the next graphics, on the next GPU or the next CPU. If you have a 3080 and you have an i7-4790k, it's completely fine. Especially if you're running at 4K, even better. We've proven it, we've shown it here, and I hope you guys learned a thing or two. Drop a comment down below what you guys think, what other benchmarks you want me to try. I'm doing my best here to try to keep up. I hope you learned something new. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe, it really helps the little channels out, and I'll see you in our past, present, and future videos. Sawasdee krap.